Can I be real with you for a moment? Are you tired? Like bone deep exhausted, you know, just completely exhausted. And yet somehow you feel like you should be doing more. Or maybe you wake up and the to-do list already feels like a mountain that you can't climb. Is this you? Is this how you're feeling? This kind of exhaustion is what I call the silent burnout epidemic. And it's hitting so many women and men, especially those of us who give so much. You know, we give in our businesses, we give to our families, we give to our communities, and we often do that without any support whatsoever. And we do it without any space for ourselves. You see, the tricky thing about burnout is that it's not just physical tiredness, it's emotional, it's mental, and it's spiritual. And what we do is we carry this invisible weight of being the strong one all the time. You know, we're the strong one, we're the fixer, we're the go-to person, the person who always puts everyone else first. You know, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because that's what I do. I do it all the time. I'm still doing it now. Um, you know, I put other people's needs before my own, all that kind of stuff. You know, and that's just in my nature. In fact, if you probably cut me in half, you would see that that's what's written inside me, like a bit of a stick of rock. But this also happens, you know, in business. The pressure to show up all the time, the pressure to be consistent, you know, the pressure to be hustling, to never slow down. You know, you've always been told, oh, you need to be posting 3, 4, 5 times a day. And that just isn't physically possible to do that. You know, it just wears you out and it gets you down and it makes you feel really miserable. And the reason why I can say that to you is because it made me feel really miserable. And, you know, I just felt like I was putting stuff out there just for the sake of it. So I did a restructure to see what I could do that would make things a bit easier and a bit better. What we tend to do is we start to push through and we keep pushing and we keep pushing. Even when our nervous system is begging us for a rest, we will keep going. And I had this recently with a family member who is just exhausted, you know, from the constant pressure of work, you know, and the needing to be the best at what he does. And I don't think that that gives him a chance to be able to calm down and chill out and that sort of stuff. But here's what I want you to know. This feeling exhausted and overwhelmed doesn't mean you're weak or that you're failing. What it means is that you're carrying too much for too long, and your body and your mind and your heart are asking you to pause and listen. Think of it this way, right? If I give you a glass of water to hold, like this, for example, and I asked you to hold it out and keep it there. Now, you'd be able to do that for a few minutes. We may be able to do it for 5 minutes and not feel anything. But if I ask you to stand there and do that for an hour, eventually it's going to become heavy. You're going to feel pain in your arm, your hands, you know, and this is what we do with pressure and feeling exhausted and all that kind of stuff. We keep hold of it and we keep carrying it around, and we'll just put a little bit more in our backpack. But what we don't do is start looking at, you know, what them things are and taking some of it out. You know, some of it we may have to carry around with us, but others we don't. We can sort it out and we can put it to one side. So I want you to think about that. But here's the good news, okay? Burnout is preventable and it's reversible. So the first step is recognizing it. Just recognize what it is. Give yourself permission to feel tired, to feel overwhelmed, and to not feel at your best. Then I want you to start to create some boundaries and practice that support of well-being, because you have to look after yourself, because if you don't, nobody else will. you know, so you've got to be the one that says, right, enough's enough, and you draw a line and you take that break, you have that rest. If you're wondering where to start, I've created a free burnout assessment that helps you identify your personal signs and tailor your recovery. I'll link it below, and if you want a safe, compassionate space to work through, then I'm here for you. You know, you can always message me, you can always get in touch. You know, as you know, I do therapy sessions, 6 weeks of therapy, or you could do 12 weeks of life coaching, whichever comes best for you or fits you, your needs best, really. You deserve a business and a life, or just your life that fuels your soul, not drains it. So, I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Exhale. You're doing the best you can, and that's enough. That's it for me for today. I shall see you all again soon. Bye for now.